Everyone. This is Marcus, Dev Relations at Edge and Node, working on the graph. And we have Justice here today, who's going to be sharing how he's building Africa's infra using the graph. However, he joined and then his connection went out, and then he joined again and his connection went out. So we're going to see, hopefully, if we can get some solid connection on his end. And thinking my connection is solid. Last week I was traveling for work and had some connection issues myself. So crossing fingers, he's able to join back again right now. So I'm actually chatting with him in another window. Hi, everybody. How's it going? So we'll just hang out here for a little bit. How's everyone in chat? Hello. We'll just go ahead and see if he's able to join. How's everyone's week been? Everyone's been doing well. Osab, how you doing, man? Saw you chatting. Etienne, Jonathan, Jesse, how's everyone doing? There we go. Justice. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Justice, right now we are streaming and the chat can see you, so you can wave hi to chat. Awesome. So yeah, Justice, yeah, you were just introducing yourself to me. And if you could introduce yourself to the chat here, tell me about how you got started in the graph ecosystem and what brought you here to Graph Builders office hours.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank Simon, Chidibem, and Luis. Like they have been my close pals in the graph ecosystem. So I can start the story by saying that I actually started learning the graph about 2 weeks to Ethereum Ithacra 2023. So then I had already like delved into the space around 2021, and I was like still learning. So 2 weeks to the hackathon, I built my first subgraph, but then I didn't really know like there's an ecosystem where you can like be in and like bring value to, and then you can also be rewarded. So then I met Chidibem. I actually walked towards the technical support table around the hacking area, and I asked a question, and my question actually intrigued both Chidibem and Jerry. So
You got to
they
meet
were like,
Jerry too.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So then,
I have not met
yeah,
Jerry yet. I've known Jerry for maybe 3 years now. His subgraph was the first subgraph I ever saw on the Graph Network ever. So I actually like
wow,
researched his subgraph maybe 4 years ago now. Geez, four and a
wow,
half years ago. Yeah, so he's a legend in my mind. So I'm happy you got to meet Jerry.
yeah, he's very good. So
Yeah,
I asked the question, and the question actually sparked the friendship. So like right now, I see Chidibem and Jerry as like brothers. Like for 1 year now, we just been going back and forth, just trying to understand both personally and also about the graph. So the after the question, Jerry and I had like a 4 hour to like 3 hour conversation about everything around tech and the graph. Then later I won a bounty, and then I took a selfie with Simon. So then
that's
Simon
awesome.
actually,
That's
so
awesome.
then
That's
like
awesome.
that was great. So then I actually like the energy around like
Mm,
the people I met. So then Chidibem actually told me that there's actually something like a graph advocates program, and
yep.
it's cool if I join. I think he's very good at talking about the graph to
Mm,
like other people. So I'll have to give him that. And then
yep.
I applied, and I had my interview. I had two interviews. That's how the process was. Yes, and then finally I got in. And
Awesome.
right now I'm currently building a product that is powered by the graph. So it's called Shika. So
Awesome.
basically the app is to build the credit score infrastructure for Africa.
Yeah,
So
and I saw the title of your presentation today. And before we go into that a little bit, what's your development experience before coming into this ecosystem? Were you doing front end, back end? What was your learning experience beforehand?
Okay, so beforehand, actually, like everyone, or maybe like for like most people, I began from machine learning. So
Mm,
I
mm,
I started because I had one internship as a tutor, like a math tutor. That was when I discovered I actually love math. I didn't know I loved math. So then, like,
mm,
maybe because they understood me, that's why I felt like I love math. But then from there, I asked myself, how can I combine like something with math and coding? And then
mm-hmm,
machine learning or deep learning was the first thing. So I actually
mm,
did deep learning for about 2.5 years. So I actually built, that was prior to the GPT era. Like I built
mm-hmm.
like it's like speech to text models. I was more LLM than the computer
Gotcha.
vision.
So you're
Yeah,
doing more like Python, just data modeling.
exactly.
You're going into pandas and all that type of stuff.
Exactly.
And okay, cool.
Scikit-learn and TensorFlow.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, that's it's funny enough. That's how I got started in computer science was just all Python. I was interested in optimization and linear basically mathematics in terms of optimization in any way that I could. And so it was bordering on machine learning. This was, I don't know, years ago, but it wasn't exactly machine learning. And so just dove in to data and data science, and it's been an incredible journey on the way here. So but yeah, Justice, let's get into you and what you are here to share today. I know you want to talk about Africa's infra and what you're doing. You
Yeah.
said you wanted to share something today. Can we take a look at that?
Yeah, I wanted to share something. I was
Awesome.
actually going to demo it like live on my phone, but all of a sudden, so what I'll do is that I'll share the page deck and show you something like a glimpse of like the dashboard and how the system works. But I wanted to share it like live on my phone for you, but
Ah.
something happened like a few couple minutes before the whole thing started. So, so
Justice, well, that is the live demo. That happens every live demo. That's going to happen every single one that will ever come. That's guaranteed to happen. At least one out of every
so
two. That's how it happens.
so I'm sharing my screen. I want to just talk about Shika first, like
Sure, sure.
why we are doing Shika. So, like
Everyone can,
basically,
yeah.
Shika is like to,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Everyone
So
can see this. Yes, I'm looking in chat. Okay, everyone can see this. Yes, we're good.
yeah.
Go
So
ahead, Justice. I'll give you the stage. I'll step off stage and I'll let you explain this, and I'll just jump back in whenever the presentation feels like
okay.
you want to come back
No,
in.
but
And I'll
then
have the
like
conversation.
it would have been nice if I said it whilst we converse because I'm not going
Oh,
to
you want to
be
hang?
able to
Okay,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'll hang out with you.
Okay.
Perfect. Let's hang
So,
out.
so like the question basically is, do you have a credit score? Like do you have a credit score, right? Like that's my
Hmm.
question.
Yes, I do. I do have a credit score.
Okay, so I'm sure that your credit score actually gives you like access to like certain financial instruments that maybe certain people
Mhm.
in your country also will not have because of like the way the credit is like SAPA credit scores and like the way the credit score system is, right. But right here in
Hmm.
Africa, we don't have like a central, let me say, a credit bureau whereby we know this is your credit score. Credit scores are
Hmm.
in silos, right? So
Mm,
then
hmm.
basically off-grid labs is like the parent and the Shika is like the product. So basically, Shika is just trying to like target the unbanked. So if you come to Africa, you see that people use offline transactions a lot, but we don't see a lot of people targeting that because Africa, crypto crypto was not built for Africa. Like the current things you are seeing in crypto are not built for Africa. What you are seeing is that people who are mostly the minority are the ones in crypto, whereby the people like this, where they have low internet connectivity, low credit score, like lack of like financial trackings, like they are the ones that when you bring onto the ecosystem, you can achieve that 1 billion that 1 billion like use like on chain like drive. So then we are doing that and we are going to use that with the power of the graph protocol. So then
Hmm.
these are the kind of people we target, people who are unbanked. And basically how we do it is that we use a blockchain, right? So we are linking the offline system on chain, and then we create data on chain, and then use AI. lucky, luckily, right now my AI skills are now coming into play. But then we use
Yeah.
AI, and then we also fetch big data, and then like we kind of give banks or financial institutions an idea of like whether somebody's worth that credit the person needs or not. So this is like
And
basically how it works. And
and right
in our
now, I have a
you
is
said,
it okay if I ask is it okay if I ask a quick question?
oh yeah, yeah, you can
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm just curious. You were saying initially, right now, the credit systems in Africa are in a they're not organized in terms. I was trying to understand that. Okay, so how is the credit currently working in Africa? What is if someone wanted to have credit, what would they have to do?
So unfortunately, right, even the digital identity is now like being solved like gradually, because that is a precursor to how you can solve a credit, like how you, like to how you can create a credit infrastructure, right?
Hmm.
So currently in Africa, like I've had I've had conversations with farmers that want loans. There's a 68-year-old woman in a particular region in Ghana called Ashanti region, right? And she's actually old. She has won like the farmers, like the best farmer awards in the country, but like she doesn't have enough money to like scale her business, right? And that's because they like some feel like she's going to die, and some feel like she doesn't have any record showing that she can pay the loans. Yes, most of
Right.
those people are actually in the rural areas with little education as well. So then some of them don't also like take this into consideration.
So is it a two-part problem where first off there isn't tracking of this information, and then if there is tracking, it's not being coordinated with others? It's kind of two different
So
parts.
so it is partially so in a sense that others are actually tracking, but
Okay.
but the tracking is also not organized as well. But
Mm.
the tracking actually is in silos, like realistically. So let's say you have one ecosystem or one app doing it their way, another app doing it their way. So what we are
Right.
trying to do is to bring the tracking on chain as well as
Hmm.
bring everything together, right?
Hmm.
Everything will be on chain. So
Hmm.
what we have right now, the first version actually like is going to begin with a silo idea, because we want to use group savings to track that. So let's say you, Simon, and I come
Hmm.
together to make it like a pool. Think of it like a multi-sig, but like we have a pool. And then what
Hmm.
happens is that after every round, we give it to someone. So today we bring 100 USDC each, and I get everything. The next time we give
Hmm.
it to you, next time we give it to that person. And then that can give an
Hmm.
idea also of whether you can pay 300 USDC if you are supposed to take it as credit in the future. Now,
Hmm.
the second phase is to use ZK, that's zero knowledge proofs, to actually
Hmm.
bring all off-chain transactions on-chain without like the user doing that his or herself. So that's actually like very, very like impressive, because we are using a lot of like advanced cryptography, like multi-party computation to solve that. But that is
Hmm.
like in the near future, maybe this quarter is something like we are
Nice.
thinking of doing. Yeah, but then for
Nice.
now, what we just like completed and we are still trying to test is around the group savings, and then we'll power that with the graph.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. I have questions. Should you keep
Okay,
going or should? Oh, cool, cool, cool.
okay,
So how many people are on your team, Justice?
okay. So on my team right now, I'm like the one doing a lot of the technical stuff, like in the majority. But like I have a product person called Jojo Mensah. Uh,
Mm,
Also, Luis also helps in like the marketing like strategy. Like he's like more of like an advisor. So he
mm,
advises on how we can like position ourselves in the market. So then we
mm.
also have I also have a friend from Morocco who like is also helping with like the mobile development. So like the team is actually like international and like
That's great.
diverse. So then yeah.
That's great. The question that comes up is, okay, so if this data is right now in silos and you're trying to get this on chain, how do you get access to this data, and then I mean that would in my mind require incentivization. How do you incentivize these organizations to give you the data, and then from there how do you coordinate that when there's, let's say, dispute? Let's say one organization has records that are a little bit off as compared to another. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
So basically, that is in two forms, right? It's in two. Let me say it's in two steps. So firstly, we have our data, and what we are going to do basically. So let's say you are using the off-chain form of transaction, right? What's going to happen is that you are going to we are going to be taking your transaction IDs for every single transaction you are doing off-chain, and then what we are going to do that we are going to use like cryptography to kind of prove that you made this transaction, this amount of money you made, why you made it, because all those things are things you normally do off-chain, right? We are just taking that transaction ID and then using that to obtain the transaction object of the entire transaction, and then we validate it with cryptography. So after it's validated, we have like a ZK proof of every single transaction you've made. And then what's going to happen is that we are going to now put that on the blockchain so it stays there forever. But then
Nice.
that access to other people's transaction is going to happen by virtue of collaboration with other like off-chain systems.
Nice. And I guess that's the question in my mind is like, is this data publicly accessible or is this difficult to get initially to bring on chain? What's that process like?
So the data is not publicly accessible. So that is one of the hurdles like you're going to face, because you like for some of them, for you to partner with them, you need to have like maybe let's say particular licenses. For some of them, you need to pay. So then that's like those are some of the normal hurdles you face in the fintech like space, of which like
Sure.
we are ready to go through. Like we have partners like IR Labs. I don't know if you know IR Labs, but IR Labs actually a good
Drop the
ecosystem.
link in the chat here.
Okay, let me do that.
Yeah, you can do it in Telegram. IA Labs. Is this it right here? Let's go.
Should I drop it on Telegram or the chat?
Yeah, drop it on Telegram. Yeah.
Okay.
I always like to share. If you want if you want the audience to know of any links, let me know, and I'll share it in public.
Okay.
There we go. IA Labs
Let me
XYZ.
find
There it
this
is.
one.
Got it. Boom. Lewis is saying, "Hey." He's saying hi to you in chat.
Hello.
There he is.
So so we actually went to their startup like accelerator program, like just for us like build relationships and also learn like what it takes to like solve this kind of problems. This is actually a very difficult and big problem.
Sure.
It's difficult on many fronts. For you to make the unbanked come on chain, it's actually not easy to do in production. I can show you a demo of me doing something around like an offline DEX, like as in, but that was in development environment. But to bring it in production, actually very costly. Like as I speak now, I've spent like a couple thousand just to get it into like the staging environment. And like this like kind of the reasons why you don't find a lot of people like being able to solve this problem. So there's a very high barrier to entry. That's at the first step of just trying to get to the customer in terms of distribution. But then the next hurdle you're going to face is like in terms of compliance and like trying to make partnership with some of these companies.
And I mean, it seems technically this is reasonable as a solution. It just like I'm, and I. How often are you talking with them? Is this something that you? I'm just curious how, from a startup perspective, from a builder's perspective, getting the technical solution in my mind, it makes sense. Like this is all able to be done, and sometimes there's a little bit of difficulty that you don't envision, but this is able to be solved. Where do you see the next steps for this project? You said you can potentially show something today, or you said your phone wasn't working. Of course.
I'm going to say something today.
Sure, let's see it if you're able to, or if not, we could share a video of a recording later. Whatever you got.
Okay, so what I'm going to show is like this, like some of the markets. If you want to talk about it, I can talk about it. Let me just show you
Sure,
like a
yeah.
video.
Well, I'm curious about that. What is the size of the market? Let's back up a little bit.
So then in Africa, basically the lending market is actually large. So we are like, so think of it like in this AI era, we have companies that are building are building like AI companies, and we have companies that are building um, the processing power for the AI models, right? Like you have
Hmm.
NVIDIA, right? Think of us like the
Right.
NVIDIA for the lending market. We are not trying to give loans. We are trying to create what it takes for the loans to go to the right people, and then to bring
Hmm.
back like revenue for those people giving loans. So we
Hmm.
are like trying to sell the shovels and not the gold. I think that's how to say it. I don't know if I'm right, but then basically like this, like the lending market, right? We have a serviceable optimal market of about $1.95 billion, which is actually large. And we are
Hmm.
even if we are even able to even get about 1% of that, like to help companies in that 1%, that's already
Hmm.
putting us like on like on the African stage. So
Awesome.
these are some of the
Good to know.
things. Yeah. And like I would have showed you the main thing, but basically what happens is something similar to this, whereby they go offline and they can log in and like, oh sorry, and like they can log in. So I want to pause it. So then
Hmm.
basically like we made a lot of changes, but like I want to show it to you on the phone. But I can do that like later, like personally with you, maybe after this call, and maybe later you can share it in another video. But they can
Hmm.
get cryptocurrencies on chain, and they can send it. They can send it to even other countries. And this the exchange and investment is where they are going to do like the group savings. So let me try and skip there.
Sure, sure,
So
sure.
they can join a group. They decide how much like each person is supposed to contribute in a group, the
Sure.
interval in which they're supposed to contribute in a group, right? The number of people they want to join a group, the group name. So Susu means like savings in Africa or in Ghana. So then
Okay.
basically this is like some of the information that will be displayed and will be saved on chain. You get me? And then when it's
Yeah.
saved on chain, we have this kind of dashboard that we show to financial service providers like banks. So this is the dashboard that the banks see, right? And they can
Okay.
see all the transactions, right? And the insights about the person coming for the credit. So when anybody walks into a bank after using Shika for about 6 months, they can obtain credit just by providing their telephone number and their Ghana card. That is their national ID. So that's the Ghana card,
Mhm.
the GHA, the national ID, the telephone number. So by providing that, we can actually give them access to credit.
Mm. Wow. Okay. How long have you been working on this with your team? I mean, this seems not only well thought out in terms of a use case, but actually good user experience and having it be incredibly simple. It has a dashboard that a banking institution or a credit institution would be able to see. I'm imagining this has been going on for many, 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 many months.
Yeah, you're right. So then, actually, the the problem began this way. So I actually started by, like I said, I built the offline decks, and I met someone who saw it and was trying to tell me that, oh, there is this problem out there, like a credit problem. So then
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay," and like I went to read more about the credit, um, the credit space. I actually read a lot of books about how FICO was like made in the States, and just trying to find out how to create a credit like infra for Africa. And then basically I began that way. So because I'd already built something offline on chain, that part was not really a problem. But then bringing it into production was a problem because of the cost involved. So that part has taken so far about 4 months just finish that part. And then I've
Mm.
already written like my subgraph. So all the I think I showed you the subgraph before, personally. The one I sent, I gave you an invite to. Do you remember that
Yes, yes, I do remember
subgraph?
that. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. So then basically the next step actually is to build a substream power subgraph. We can't use a subgraph in the end because we need to create a data pipeline. So we can use Kafka to create that data pipeline, which is going to stream onto the AI models, maybe about four AI
Mm.
models. and then they are all going to be, one is going to be checking the amount of credit like you deserve, your credit score, whether you can pay, so you can see everything here, like insights and score, like in the dashboard. So we need all those from the AI models, like give us like proper, give the banks proper like understanding of who is coming for the credits. So that's a large part of that end, and the ZK end coming it being all off-chain transactions on-chain. So like there's AI, there is ZK, all the edge technologies, and then
Yeah.
also like importantly,
All
and
the edge cases.
most importantly, there is the graph ecosystem, because without that, everything is useless.
Well, I mean, I do want to ask you, Justice, right now you did talk about shifting over to a substreams powered subgraph. Have you started building that yet, or and have you not started building that yet?
So I started 2 months ago, and then I
Okay.
stopped because of the I was underestimating how difficult it would be to bring the offline into production. So like I started it, like I was doing it in parallel together, and at some point I was seeing it like, okay, let me finish this side, because the subgraph power substream is not really an issue for me. uh, I have done a little bit of like ZK with Halo 2, so I understand like how Rust works. So I was like, okay, the substream power subgraph will not be a problem for me. So let me focus on that. So then it's not complete, but then yes,
Okay.
I
Gotcha.
started.
Gotcha. If you have more to share, continue sharing, and there's also questions in the chat. So whatever you want to do.
Okay, let me see if there's more to share. Okay, so like this is an example of like the query from the subgraph, right? So like this is like evidence that like we are already like trying to like bring everything on chain. So that's basically that in a nutshell.
In a beautiful pre-production, near production nutshell.
But
So
if anything, if I'll add anything, it's basically about support, because to solve this actually very expensive. So support is very needed.
So
That's it.
yeah, let's talk about that. When you say support, what would the graph? I mean, we got the graph ecosystem here. We got the graph developers and the graph builders office hours, and so what would be the best thing to help you out, Justice, to help this project just push a little bit faster, push a little bit better?
Okay, so I think the graph has a very good support system. So technically, I don't think I'm going to face a lot of challenges. Like I'm still underestimating it, but then maybe it can happen. But then in terms of like support, maybe monetary can be very important in forms of grants, can be very important
Sure,
for us.
sure.
Yes, and more like right now, like as we are doing like advertising it, that we are partners with the graph side, that it's like helping credibility for other financial partners to know that we are not just playing around, but we are serious.
Yeah. Do you have a link that I could share for anyone that wants to contribute to this? I mean, this is super needed. I think this is really awesome that you guys are building this and that you're building on
Okay,
subgraph
like
substreams.
so, like you mean a GitHub link, right?
Get well anything that you want people to see. I mean, if it's a GitHub link, if there's a way
Okay,
to
so
contribute.
currently, okay, so for the GitHub link, unless I make the project
Public.
what's the name? Like right now, it's private, yeah. So it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
open source because
Well,
like
maybe it'd be
of the
better just to
stage we are
reach out
in.
to you privately.
Yeah. So then, if you want to reach out to me privately, this is my X account. So
Okay.
I'll drop that in the
Yeah,
chat.
share it in chat and I'll drop it in. There we go. And Telegram, there you are.
And I think let me also send. We created like a simple X account as well for Shika, so you can follow
Okay,
the project and yeah, have this.
perfect. There we are. And there it is. Okay. Okay. There we are. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, helping with this project, I mean, there's a lot of projects out there. I think this is, I mean, being able to get this over the line, monetary contributions, we can chat. I'm happy to help out any way that I can. And then we can talk about if there's any other way to do some funding. I think that's really important to keep teams like yours going. That needs to happen. It's a fact of the matter of just building anything is just there actually has to be a push to get some funding going through. So that's a big deal. Um,
Mm.
for this, is there anything else that you'd like to share before I go into a few questions here?
Oh no, there's nothing else to share.
Awesome, perfect. I mean, also, I got to say, awesome project, and we'll keep on chatting because I want to find out ways that I can help this out. Question here: do you see offline decentralized exchanges, DEXs, like yours, being scaled successfully across many other countries of Africa? I see this working very well, while many of these same countries work on fixing their infrastructure issues.
The person is asking about a DEX as an exchange.
Yeah, do you see it being scaled successfully across many other countries of Africa,
Okay,
besides Ghana?
for exchanges, the history of exchanges, right, is about order books. But then the DeFi brought a better system like the automated maker machine. But then
Mm,
we also have in Africa a lot of people use like the peer-to-peer way. Uh,
mhm,
the system I actually built, the offline system I built was the the AMM format, not the
mhm,
peer-to-peer format. And
mhm,
actually, after building it, I actually even tried applying for. I think the person who was viewing the application didn't get it. He was saying things like USSD. That's the networking protocol for the offline transmission that people use in Africa, right? The
mhm,
USSD. He was saying it is slow, which is not true. If you've been know it's not slow. So he's like he didn't get it, but like that was the like some of the issues you have in terms of that like that's just by the way. But like with
mhm,
respect to Africa, in terms of whether that DEX solution will work, I actually don't know because I was actually curious about testing it, but then there was no support. So then I actually later pivoted into this idea, but then I began
mhm,
from a DEX idea actually. But then,
mhm,
in terms of knowing whether it will work in Africa, I actually don't know because most people use peer to peer and
mhm,
not the order book slash AMM style. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Another question here. We've got when V2. Talking about your dashboard, I
Okay.
believe.
So for the the main goal is actually have SDKs, right? So the
Mm,
dashboard is just for like us to show you guys what we are trying to talk about. But then the
mhm,
best scenario is for us to have SDKs where banks can plug into and can have their own dashboard on how they want it to look like, and then they'll
mhm.
just present that data. But the SDK is purely powered by the graph, and that is why
Got
like
it.
I always say like the graph is actually without the graph it's not possible.
Yeah,
That's like a fact.
we yeah. I mean, I love that. If you want a Dex, that's pretty much that's the option. And so let's see another question. Do you see one of your next moves to include banks directly in the process?
So in what way is a person trying to talk about the inclusion of the banks? Like in what way?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what they meant by it, but my guess would be, I mean, banks have a fantastic record of a person's finances, and they're able to apply
Oh,
scoring.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So those are the steps in like growing. You have to
Mm,
start with the mobile money. To
yep.
like I showed in the slide, there is something called MTN mobile money. So in
Hmm.
Africa, if you want to take a loan, sometimes you can use
Hmm.
something called quick loan from MTN. But
Hmm.
like I said, they are in silos, and they
Hmm.
are a mobile money like now rebranding into a technology company, and
Hmm.
the banks are like the next step to that. So
Hmm.
the lower hanging fruit in terms of collaboration are the telecommunication networks, and the next step
Hmm.
is to go into the banks. But then you
Gotcha.
mostly find it harder to get to the banks first. You have to build some base with other like telecommunication networks first before you can start going
Awesome.
to the banks.
Awesome. It sounds like you've thought this through just a little bit. And I have to ask, Justice, I'm an old man now. I have to ask, just for me to you, how old are you? Like you seem so on it. And this is our first. I've seen you in chat for a while now. How old are you?
I don't know if
You're
it's supposed to be a public information, but then I just turned 23.
23.
17.
There it is. Yeah, I'm 37, my friend. I'm an old man. So
You
this
are
is exciting.
7 years younger.
Yeah, this is exciting for me to see a developer like yourself pushing hard and building something that is big, and this is really cool. So we got another question here. Once launched, any plans to white label the service across all countries of Africa with Lewis? I guess he's. I guess you can ask who's asking that question. I think Lewis is. Lewis has jumped in the chat and he wants you to white label everything with him.
So yeah, that's actually it. So the plan is to expand like to the entire like African continent, which
Sure.
actually very difficult. Like even to like to do anything in one country in Africa is actually difficult. But then to expand in Africa, but like that's the main aim, to make every single person in Africa's the credits like score be in like one central place, but on chain. So on chain
Yeah.
because now it's tamper proof, and the
Yeah.
zero knowledge means that it's also verifiable. So that will
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
the end of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Justice, hell of a presentation and a project. I'm happy we got to meet in person, at least through a computer. I am looking forward to seeing further development in this project. Let's keep on chatting because I want to find out ways that I can support this project myself. And then from there, if there's anything that you want me to share in chat or anything like that to keep on supporting this project, I've shared your contact information. Is that the best way that people can support you? Is just reach out and then you can direct them?
So on Twitter is one way you can get me on Telegram. I'm more active on Telegram than even on WhatsApp or like
Yeah,
even if you call
me
me.
too.
You can get me much faster on Telegram. Like if you want to get me at any time on
Oh,
Telegram.
I mean,
So the Telegram
Telegram,
is at
WhatsApp. I mean, you name it. There's
the
9
Telegram is
different
code JT. But
channels.
let me send it to the chat.
Sure. Just send it. You can just send it into the Telegram chat. And while you're doing that, I just want to thank everyone for coming through today. Justice gave a great presentation on what he's been working on for many months with his team. So the fact that this can be built in a decentralized way and be done in a permissionless way, that's just.
So that's the Telegram.
There it is. I see it. All right. So Justice's TG. There we go. Code JT. There you go. And I will also put this in chat. I'm on multiple windows. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, and on Discord. It's super fun. Let's see.
I actually admire what you do. It's serious fun.
I think I need to have eyes that do like this. You know how like chameleons, can do that with their eyes.
The last time
That's me.
you presented, the screen was not working, and you did finish
Oh.
everything. I think the screen froze.
You were here last week? Oh my gosh! I was like no, and then Chittibam was like, presenting.
There was another presentation you did actually. I was checking it on YouTube. That the screen has frozen, and you finished it, and you had to present again.
I mean, my life is an organized panic. I just try to keep it very organized as I panic all the time. That's my professional role. So I appreciate your time, Justice, and if everyone else in chat is having a good day, I'm really happy you guys were able to join us. Please reach out to Justice and support his project and his team's project. This is very much needed. This is a fantastic use case for blockchain. The market is there. The technology is there. It just needs push. It needs a push. So that's a big deal. So shout out to those already helping, and shout out to the builder right in front of us, Justice. Awesome to meet you in person. Awesome to have you on. So if you could keep this tab open, I'm going to cut off the live stream, but we got to keep this tab open so the actual recording can finish. But for now, everyone in chat, have a good rest of your day, and Justice, stay online, and have a good rest of your day, everybody.